Hey guys, this is Jimmy from Jimmy's DIY. In today's video, I will be unboxing and reviewing SunLu's FilaDryer S2. Before we dive into it, I just want to discuss two to three questions. What is 3D printing? So 3D printing is a method of creating three-dimensional models by stacking layers over layers using design softwares, which are basically computer-assisted design softwares, CAD, like Fusion 360, and etc. And the next question is, what is a filament dryer? A filament dryer allows you to refresh your old filament by heating it up, the filament that has been exposed to humidity. So why do you need it, and what's the reason for it? Before I dive into it, let me just give you a little brief on it. I was introduced to 3D printing over a year ago, and I've been 3D printing multiple things for decoration purposes. You can probably see behind me Goku and other Buddha model right behind me over there, for decorative purposes and improve things around my house. As I started to print more and more, and I got more advanced in using PETG, ABS, nylon, I started to see stringing a lot. Now, I live in New York, where in summertime it gets really humid. Even today it's basically 80% humidity, and after running the dehumidifier, I'm able to get it down to 45. In my room it's a bit high, but in my other side of the room is basically 45 or something. Now, what can happen with the humidity? The filaments get brittle, and they start to break off when you're feeding into a Bowden tube, or even it's a direct dry. When it's printing, it cracks when it's trying to feed into the hot end. Wet filament also cause oozing or issues with plastic, basically filament not coming out in correct shapes and not sticking to the bed. Now, I get question asked by a couple of people on Discord, hey, is my filament useless at this point? No, it's not. You could definitely refresh it by using the dryers, or use food dehydrators and stuff like that. They get creative, but I went ahead and purchased the dryer originally, which is SunLu's FilaDryer S1. So you could use those dryers to heat up your filament prior to the melting point. So for example, if I'm basically restoring my PLA, right, I would heat it up at 48 to 50 degrees Celsius, as opposed to their melting point, which is over 100 degrees for a PLA, and then PETG has obviously higher temperature. Let's dig right in. Today I have FilaDryer S2 by SunLu that was sent over to me by SunLu. Thank you for basically sending this over to me, SunLu, for a test and review. I would like to basically compare this after unboxing with my S1, and why I like this better than the S1. So your typical power brick. Now this is a 48 watt power brick that you would need. It's packaged fairly nice, and you have a manual with it. You do get little filament guides. There are 4 in there in the package. This is SunLu's S2 FilaDryer. The design is different than the S1 model. Before we do a deeper dive with my thoughts and stuff like that, let's head over to my SunLu's dryer station. Alright guys, we're at my 3D printing station. On the right hand side you see my Ender 3, in the middle you see SunLu FilaDryer S2, on the left hand you see SunLu FilaDryer S1. Before we take a deeper dive into it, I want to show you how a wet filament looks like, or when filament gets old. What do I mean by wet filament or brittle? So right here I have a spool in front of me that I got from 3D or GS3D or whatever that company is or was. If you take a filament, this is basically 6-month-old filament that has been sitting out. If I take this and I bend it, it just snaps right off right there into 2 pieces. That means my filament has a moisture in it, and I need to basically cook it or bake it, whatever you want to call it. Now I would do that by setting the timer on my S1 right there. Right now it shows 6 hours, and if I hold this button down, the first one, it shows you its present value at 48 degrees Celsius. So I'm setting that to 48 degrees to bake my PLA. The S1 has served me great, but the drawbacks are there. One of them, it doesn't have a humidity sensor, so I've been using external monitor like one of these. The other thing is it has a heating element on the bottom. There's no heating element up on top. You can see in there, right there. If you open it up, and it has 2 rollers, so you can leave the filament in there, spool. But what I found that I had to either run this for 12 hours or higher to dry my filament, and then when I dry it in there, I have to rotate the filament. The other thing is the screen is too small. Sometimes it's not visible. The brightness is not visible, and then the other thing is you got to maneuver through the buttons. You got to fiddle it out. So if I got to go to the next screen, I got to hold this button down and then go to the time, or if I want to change set value, I have to basically press this button to go to set value, so set the temperature to 48. Now it's very simple. On the other hand, the FilaDryer S2 has multiple improvements over the S1. First is obviously the touchscreen. So you double tap it and it turns on, and then it shows you everything: present value, relative humidity, set value 49, timer here, material, and it allows you, basically has a preset for the material and LED, which is in circulating as green. You can turn it off. So it's all touchscreen. You don't have any buttons, so you hold the set value button. It's blinking. That means its present value is 35, and I could go down to set value, change that manually up and down, and then if I do timer, it shows you set timer for 6 hours. Now you can also change that here manually, and then it shows you the time as it time decreases. And then material, it covers from anywhere from PLA to everything, PC, PA, ABS, and all that. So, and then you could do TPU, LED on off as well right there. I like to leave it on. The other good thing that I like about this one is it has the heating element up on top in here and also on the bottom. Let me show it to you guys. Same 2 rollers inside right there, and white is the heating element. It's on the bottom and it's also on top. That means it's more energy efficient. It still uses 48 watt brick that the first one uses. Also, if you notice this thing, the case on top doesn't drop on the back. This was the major drawback for me on the S1, which is like this. If I do this, it just doesn't stop, and I had to basically put stuff behind it so it doesn't drop, otherwise it would just drop on the back. Few other things that I want to bring it up to your attention is some of those that are considering to purchase this. The generation first S1 has a time limitation of 24 hour. The S2 has 99 hour. Temperature is limited in the first one to 55 degrees maximum. The S2 is basically max temperature is 77 degrees. Overall, I like this second generation, or the S2, better than the first because of the number of improvements they did. The touchscreen, the dual element, and the cover doesn't drop in the back. Also built-in humidity sensors and stuff like that. I really love this new design and the upgrade SunLu did to the FilaDryer S2. And if you don't currently own one, and if you're in the market, I would definitely recommend going for the S2 versus any other. Now, if you're on a budget, definitely go for the S1 versus the S2. That's it for today. If you like my videos, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video I'll be doing on using how to tune, or how to basically level your bed using Octoprint. Thank you once again. Have a great day.